GTA, shower, eat dinner, sit on GTA. That was literally my schedule. And I would be up because I was in the UK and all my friends were in the UK as well. I would sit up until 3 a.m. and play GTA. And I think I hit rank 100, 200, and 250 on 2 accounts, and my friend still hasn't hit rank 100. And he's a lot more of a casual GTA player, so that should tell you just how fucking stupid I was at GTA.
Okay. It seems like we're live now.
Beautiful.
So,
God
welcome
damn.
everyone to the second time we're trying round 5.
Monza take 2 because Ferrari told the FIA that they weren't going to win, so they just told the FIA to do the race again.
Yeah, we had some connection issues last weekend. Let's hope we'll be able to get this race starting without any problems. We'll have
Let's
a look.
hope we get this race started and finished without any problems.
Exactly.
Don't jinx it, Walter.
Yeah, we had qualifying last time around, and we saw some surprising times from Streeter. I don't know if he's here today. He should be here today anyway. But I'll be very interested to see if he can repeat his times from last time and get pole position once again.
Streeter is a very fast driver, so I wouldn't put it out of his abilities.
Yeah.
He's in tier 1 of IRC, so he's a pretty good driver. Oh, by the way, we should say congratulations to Maranello Baby on winning the IRC championship in tier 1. Congratulations, because that's our guys at RRL here. It's not really a professional league, but small achievements in life. So Maranello won that championship, and I think the real SD came second, and both of them were going for McLaren, I think. So McLaren won the Constructors' Championship quite easily as well.
Well, in our standings, Maranello Baby is also in first position, closely followed by Enerud, by the way, with only a 8 point difference between them. And then General Pepe with 54 points. So 6 points behind Anirudh.
Anirudh has been consistently there, but he hasn't won a race yet. I want him to win a race. I want him to put in a great performance. I want him to get the strategy absolutely right. And it's kind of harsh to say this, but I want some of the faster drivers to get involved in like front wing damage and spin off, slam into a wall, and then have to do a comeback driver. That's what makes these streams interesting. And like every week we have the same drivers getting pole position, the same drivers winning the race. And as much as I like to see consistency and domination like in real life, because I'm a Mercedes fan, but not a Hamilton fan, I want other drivers to win. I want other drivers to start doing better. I want the better drivers to start performing worse. Of course, as I said before, that's kind of a harsh thing to expect from some of the best drivers on this in this league. But still, I want more competitiveness. We're doing this with equal performance cars because we want everybody to have an equal chance, and yet there are like 2 or 3 drivers which are considerably in the upper echelon of talent in terms of skill or comfortable with the game, and they're able to drive without assist, and they're probably on a wheel as well. So there's a big skill difference between the best drivers in the league and the worst drivers. Well, I won't say the worst drivers, or the slightly worse drivers in the league. There's quite a large difference. So
I mean,
I want to see
Anirudh, who's the second guy in our league, Anirudh, he's driving with a controller and drives in cockpit cam all the time. So
Anirudh is on a wheel.
Ah, yeah, he's on the wheel. Sorry. He is in cockpit cam. I don't know. Is
he
Ninja
drives
Zero?
in cockpit cam. Yeah.
Is Ninja Zero on a controller or not? I don't know.
I'm not entirely sure. None of us have had much interaction with Ninja Zero. He's been on the league a long time. He's been racing pretty much every week in, week out, but none of us really have interaction with some of the drivers. Like, I've never talked to Ninja Zero for one. I mean, briefly when I was when I was a Mercedes driver. Yeah, I was in the league briefly before I was kicked out. When I was a Renault driver, he was my teammate, and he got involved in some incidents during the first race of the season, which is the only race which I participated in, and he got punted back to the back of the grid, and then he had to come up with a comeback drive and stuff like that, and we were talking about it. After that, I haven't really talked to the guy. Of course, I haven't talked much to Cool Doc or Faizan, Normal PP. These guys are, or Not So Masoom. Like I've never talked to some of these guys before, extensively anyway. I've talked to other guys, but I've talked to Vortex and Nutty pretty much every day regarding league stuff or meme stuff, something. And of course, I talk to you regarding stream stuff pretty much every day. But yeah, some of these drivers never interacted with them, so I have no idea what type of controller if they're on controller, if they're on wheel. On the FS Discord, everybody was supposed to put it right when they joined in the beginning. Nowadays, nobody really does it. Everybody's just like join the lobby, crash into everyone, get blacklisted.
We should make it a requirement before you can enter the league.
Yeah, fair enough.
Isn't it one of the fields you have to fill in within the spreadsheet to join the league?
Yes, I believe so, but we don't really get to see that spreadsheet. Vortex does, so.
I mean, we could ask some access.
Yeah, we could.
We'll definitely.
So far, guys, we have got 15 drivers in, 2 spectators, that being me and Walter here. There are totally 17 players in the lobby, which means there are 15 drivers. Still waiting on a couple. I believe, I think it was G Chroma. No, not G Chroma. G Chroma was in the session. One of our drivers, I think Ocean Chief, had a power cut or something. So we will have to.
On the announcement, 19 people replied, so.
Oh, yeah, wow, okay. So 19 people have told us that they'd be here, and 15 of them are here. Well, no, actually, it's 13 standard drivers and 6 reserve drivers, so technically it's not all. I think we should have Tier 1, Tier 2 system from next season. Tier 1 for the regular drivers, guys who can actually log in, week out, get a race in, and are willing to participate. And Tier 2 should just be like a casual league for the rest of the players, and it should just be, non-serious.
Yeah, people who enjoy the game driving, well, at least a bit more clean than random open lobbies or ranked lobbies on the game. But
that
still
should be Tier
having
1
fun.
And yeah. Tier 2 should just be like just like a shit show. Everybody should join in. Everybody should crash, have fun. It shouldn't be a serious thing at all.
I mean,
it should just be a casual thing.
You should be able to race hard, but like, don't criticize each other for like losing a place or bumping in.
There should be no GG noob coming up in the chat later on after the race.
Exactly.
Freaking sending dive bombs from 200 meters back and having it work. Oh god.
Full simulation damage.
Full simulation damage, turn 1. Oh yeah, that'll be interesting. Let me go ahead and send. Oh, we don't have one of our usual viewers today. We don't have Uzair Saeed. He's not here yet. But I can predict what his first comment is going to be. It's going to be Faizan and Chris are going to crash.
Or Faizan and Chris by his Maldonado in Grosjean.
Grosjean. Yeah, that is strong opinions there from Uzair, but when he eventually does join in, that will be what he will contribute to this chat. I asked him if he would like to commentate, because he's one of my close friends, that's why he watches the stream regularly. I asked him if he wants to commentate. I should probably tell the rest of the chat what is going on. Unfortunately, chat, tomorrow Walter becomes an adult and has to go do adult things and not play games with other kiddies. So he will not be available to commentate on the stream tomorrow, which means that RRL round 6, I think, round 6, I don't know where the next race is. I think it's let me see. Season info.
Is it British GP?
It's British GP. Brilliant. Going to Silverstone, land of Lewis Hamilton and the Queen and other British things.
It's definitely a race where Anirudh is very good at. Definitely.
Coming from you, Walter. Coming from you. I love how you're being so very, very humble and saying, "Oh, Anirudh is so good." I remember the battle between you and Anirudh in one of our free lobbies.
Yeah, he was.
You guys were going
he's
at
very
it.
fast at Silverstone. I mean, I think I have over 200 laps on Britain short, so I'm good at some parts of Silverstone, but I still struggle in Maggots and Beckers. Getting a good line through there is very difficult, for me at least.
Do you run with racing line off or racing line on? On, okay. Well, Maggots and Beckett's on a controller is easy. You just send it and hope for the best. And you can take a lot of speed through there with the right setup. And you can hug it very close. I just take a lot of apex in Maggots and Beckett's and usually get away with it. The AI, or career mode, the AI is very, very conservative through Maggots and Beckett's. You can make up 1.5 seconds, or at least 6 or 7 tenths through Maggots and Beckett's if you get it absolutely bang on. So yeah, it's a good circuit. It's one of my favorites on the calendar, but it's not my absolute favorite. But just as qualifying is getting underway here.
Sorry for the stream delay. Seems my game crashed.
Your game crashed. Oh no!
Yeah.
Hold on, chat. We will fix this issue immediately. Get that PC restarted, Walter.
Should be fine. I don't know why it crashed though. So let's
hope
it's
just
just
a game,
a one-off
or is
thing.
it the whole PC that
It was just a game.
crashed?
It like sent a
that's fine,
Codemaster
then.
report. Yeah.
Anyways, oh yeah, the ERP thingy comes up and it's like, you crashed. And I'm like, I know, do something about it. But yeah, I will give you a rundown on what's going on right now. 3 drivers have come out onto the track immediately. So we have Anirudh, Dylan and False. So both the Williams drivers have come out. Anirudh is coming out now, going through the 2 Lesmos. Yes, 2 Lesmos. G Chroma has also started his out lap now. It should be interesting to see how these slower drivers do now that they've got another week to practice. They've had an extra week to practice on this track. So it'll be interesting to see. Ocean Chief is not here today. Neither is Scary Pumpkin or Streeter. But Not So Masoom is standing in for the Force India drivers. In their absence, he is standing in. Oh, Waltropy has joined. Waltropy has left.
Yeah, crashed again.
Beautiful.
So
as Anirudh gets his first flying lap underway, I will give you a radio commentary barreling down the pit straight, heading into the first chicane, the Retofilio. 150 meters is the brake marker for that corner. Very nice and tidy through there, heading into the long right-hander, leading up to the second chicane and hopefully the beginning of sector 2. Very, very crucial. Just before the 100-meter board is the braking marker. Take lots of apex on the first one, not too much on the second one. Avoid the sausage curbs. Heading into the 2 Lesmos, nice and smooth. Try to ride out the corner using the camber of the corner to kind of slingshot you in and out of the corner, out of the second Lesmo, now onto the DRS straight. Long straight here, heading under the bridge, which was previously the old Monza layout, coming up to the Ascari chicane, 100-meter board, lots of apex on the entry. Try not to hit the inside curb through the chicane and try to maximize the outside curb through the exit of the chicane onto the second part of the back straight. Now coming up to the iconic parabolic corner, long looping right-hander, braking just on entry and try to keep it as wide as possible to maximize exit speed onto the pitch straight here. And Anirudh puts in a 1 minute 21.463, respectable time on the medium tires. Let's go on board some other drivers currently on their fast lap. We'll start to see these times rolling in. Vikram, one of the many drivers on these soft tires right now currently. False sets a 1 minute 23.787 on these soft tires. Well, he's been underperforming in the league so far. Hopefully he gets a good race in this time. Hopefully he's managed to pick up some points for the Williams. But right now, he's put in a 1 minute 23.787 in qualifying in the Williams. A couple of drivers coming through the final sector here. Let's see who is on a fast lap now. Chris buys on a fast lap, Profits on a fast lap, a couple of drivers on their out lap. All of them will be trying to stay off the racing line as the faster cars come through. Vikram comes out of Parabolica on the soft tires. This will be a representative lap of what the faster drivers can do. He does a 1 minute 28. He must have made a mistake during that because he's gone sufficiently slower than even the cars on the medium tires. So that's very interesting to see. But he gets a lap in, so that'll be his lap. And he spins out at the Retafilio chicane after finishing his lap. There's another car on their fast lap right now. Not so Masoom is on his fast lap.
Let's go on board with IRC No More Pro Player, who's starting his fast lap now.
IRC No More Pro Player on his fast lap, trying to stay clear of these slower cars coming out of the pit lane. That's Marinello Baby. Keep an eye on him. He will look to be on maximum attack after being caught up with some unfortunate incidents at the previous race. He will look to claw back some points and hopefully redeem Renault for all that was unfortunately impacted in the last race. Very, very clean here from IRC No More PP. Slower car up ahead of him. Hopefully that car stays off the racing line. It is Anirudh keeping an eye on the faster car. Very, very good sportsman-like behavior there. Getting a lot of the inside curve through the second Lesmo there. IRC No More PP, but he's on the back straight here, heading up to the Ascari chicane. A very, very iconic corner, fast left, fast right, then a fast left onto the back straight. As Vortex puts in a massive 1 minute 20.926. We're still riding on board IRC No More PP, but we will get back to you regarding Vortex. What a massive lap, absolutely rapid, 5/10 faster than Anirudh. But he was on the soft tire, so that is understandable. Chris Bai puts in a 1 minute 20.729, becoming a new provisional pole sitter. Vortex didn't get much time warming that seat because now Chris Bai is on the top step right now. Do expect faster lap to come in later though. We are riding on board No More PP. Finishes the lap, puts in a 1 minute 23.217. Let me get some of my telemetry up here. Best. Let's enable track map.
Look.
Beautiful. Freeman is on his fast lap. He is currently on the soft set of tires. Fairly clean to this first sector. There's a yellow flag in sector 1. As Ninja Zero retires from the session. Oh dear.
Did he crash into Ascari again?
No, it wasn't on the back straight. It was on the pit straight. Weird, very weird. It was on the pit straight, apparently. Yeah. Marinello Baby is currently on his fast lap. He's coming through. He's coming through the Parabolica here. Very clean. Runs out wide, stays well within track limits. And he dives into the pits because that lap was not up to his standards. Marinello Baby dives into the pits. They're probably going in another set of soft tires, medium tires if he feels up for the challenge. Profit 133 in the Red Bull starts his flying lap. Lots of cars going off at the first chicane, the Retafilio chicane. Simply because there are faster cars coming through. Very, very sportsman-like behavior. Drivers are kind of doing erratic things. They're using extensive methods let's say, to get past other drivers.
Let's follow Vikram, who's just passed through Ascari, getting ready for his fastest lap.
All right.
At the
Riding on
moment he
board
has a
with Vikram.
1:28. Let's hope he can improve. As he's
Definitely
5
should be
seconds
able
off the
to get.
pace. There's no way
Yeah,
he did not make a mistake.
There's definitely at least 5 to 6 seconds that he can improve somewhere. As Vikram start his flying lap here, the slow car, the Alfa Romeo Sauber of G-Prom on the lap. Ooh, lots of curb there on the corner entry. Oh, there's a big slap of oversteer, and that is Vikram's lap effectively over. Very unfortunate there, but thankfully the mistake happened early in his lap, so he can just wait, go a little easy on the tires on this slow lap, and then go for it again on the next lap. He doesn't have to hit
In the
unless he
meanwhile,
feels.
let's switch over to Anirudh, who's also starting his fast lap now.
Anirudh getting a fast lap on the soft tires. This will be the lap to watch out for, ladies and gentlemen, the potentially temporary pole sitting lap here, potentially from Anirudh as he heads into the Retofilio chicane out onto the Curva de Retofilio now. Slower cars absolutely everywhere. Chris by not sitting on the racing line, moving side, very nice. Coming into the second chicane, he goes purple in the first sector. This will be a lap to watch out for, ladies and gentlemen. Lots of curb on the exit there, and he invalidated the lap due to the corner cut. I did think that amount of curb was excessive, but I didn't think he would invalidate his lap, but it has. And that will be Anirudh looking to point the car in the right direction the next time around and really send it on the next lap. Because I think 7 minutes, 26 seconds, I think drivers can comfortably pit in for a new set of tires, come out and still be able to set a fast lap. But ideally, they have maybe one, maybe maximum 2 or 3 laps.
Let's go on board with Vortex now, who started his fastest lap now. Well, another fast lap now.
Vortex in the Mercedes, well, it is equal performance, but if this were a non-equal performance lobby, then the Mercedes would definitely be up there among the fastest cars. Vortex gets a very nice exit out of the Retofilio chicane. Second chicane, let's see if he can tackle it a little better than Anirudh did. Comfortable and tidy there, didn't buy his lap into the first Lesmo. Very nice, lots of exit curb, just how you're supposed to. Clean through the second Lesmo, gets a little bit of tire on the inside curve. There's a little bit of tarmac / AstroTurf there, just to kind of give you a little extra grip when you turn in. Coming up to the iconic Ascari chicane here, 100-meter board, drop down 2 gears, fast corner entry, but he's disqualified his lap because of the excessive corner cut on entry into the Ascari chicane there. He will need to have another lap as well.
Let's
Not many drivers improving right now, but Anirudh's on another fast lap. Maybe something to go to. He's on his fast lap, he's on the back straight.
Well, let's go to Freeman, who's right in front of him.
Anirudh, you stay on board with Freeman. I will just let you know how Anirudh gets on. Very clean through Parabolica. Nice, clean, fast last sector. He is on provisional pole position. A 1 minute 20.491. Our provisional pole sitter has changed. Chris Byers dropped down to second place, but he is coming out on a brand new set of soft tires, I believe. So he will look to take that position back as Anirudh puts in an absolutely massive lap, going 3/10 faster than Chris By on the soft tires. Any other drivers starting their fast lap? Freeman, you said you were saying that was starting a fast lap. He's currently going through the Lesmos. Very clean to the first one. There's a spinning Williams right there in front of him. False RU retired from the session, and that'll be something for the stewards to look at because he has retired after crashing on the circuit. His AI driver will drive a little distance before before retiring from the session, obviously. And the Williams has just stopped right in the middle of the circuit. The retired Williams has just stopped right in the middle of the circuit. This will be something for the stewards to look at. Obviously, if this race goes through, this will be an official league race and all the incidents will be covered. We didn't cover any incidents from the previous weekend. Anirudh moving aside for the faster Cool Dog coming through. Cool Dog currently sitting in 9th place with a very respectable 1 minute 22.402. He's on his fast lap now.
120.8, very respectable lap. Seems like the top three is very close together still.
Top three are separated by just 5 or less than 5. 4/10 of a second separate the top three. 7/10 of a second separate the top 4. And a second separates the top 5. So very, very interesting going into the final 3-4 minutes of qualifying here. Very, very interesting qualifying session.
I wonder if Anirudh still went faster than Streeter's fastest lap on the previous weekend.
Let me check actually. Let me check the qualifying results from last weekend, and I'll tell you everyone on chat. Not so Masood on his out lap here. He's currently sitting on a 1 minute 21.861. Vortex sitting on a 1 minute 20.926. Manolo Baby has retired from the session. I don't know. I think he hasn't even left the pits. I think he's just decided to retire from the session and hope that he can get some first lap magic done and he can get up into the top 6 or top 8. After which he will have to execute his strategic perfection that we've seen in previous races. Maybe he's going for another one of those Manolo magic moments where he's, absolutely determined to get the race win and absolutely throws the kitchen sink at the strategy. But we are on board with Vortex, who goes on his fastest lap. Walter, if you could. Vortex currently sitting on a 1 minute 20.926. He will look to improve. IRC Double PP puts it into the top 5 with a 1 minute 21.587. Displaces G Chroma by just under 1/10 of a second, more like 600ths of a second. Very, very clean by Vortex there. Puts one wheel on the gravel coming into the Lesmos, but I don't think it should impact his time too much. Very clean through the Lesmos there. Not a lot of curb on the exit, but will give him more traction. Ooh, takes that second Lesmo perfectly, cut through that like a hot knife through butter. Heading into the Ascari chicane. This is where his last lap was invalidated because he took too much curve on the inside. Breaking at the 100-meter board. He is purple through the second sector. If he can get this lap done, very clean through Ascari there. He will look to set the fastest lap here. He's very, very fast through the second sector. Much, much faster than any other driver. Heading into Parabolica here. The racing line indicates that you have to brake quite early and you get a nice fast exit. Of course, the more pro players will brake or trail brake going into the corner. Vortex, where will this lap put him? He's on pole! Vortex is on provisional pole, 1 minute 20.387. A massive lap from Vortex, a 10th faster than Anirudh.
Let's switch to Anirudh, who is on a fast lap now.
Anirudh, they're overlapping here. Brilliant overlapping action from Vortex. I think in the next season of RRL, these two should be teammates because what a performance they seem to be putting on for us right now. Constantly exchanging blows here and trying to gain that pole position because whoever leads into turn 1 at Monza is much, much better off than the person behind. Anirudh on a fast lap going into the Lesmos here. Second sector, he will look to, runs kind of wide there on the first Lesmo. Let's see if he can make up for it on the second one. Not as aggressive on the curves as Vortex was. He will be definitely slower in the second sector. He will look to make up time in the third sector. Let's see as he crosses the second sector. Delta time, he is down. He is down. He's up on his old previous lap time by 400ths of a second, nearly half a tenth. But I think this will be a slightly slower lap. Gets a very, very poor exit out of Ascari as well. Runs very wide on the curbs. Manages to keep it together coming into Parabolica. Very, very close to the inside apex there. Running comfortably wide, but perfectly well within the limits of the track. Coming across the line here as he takes pole again. Provisional pole. Finally, as the session comes to an end. 3 minutes left. And any driver who has not put in a pole lap so far will not be given a chance to put in a pole lap. Let's see if any fast drivers are on their lap right now. Not so Masood on the fast lap. Vortex retires from the session, obviously, because the session is over. and Not So Masoom decides to abort his lap, but he is in third position. How has he managed that? Absolutely mega lap from Not So Masoom, a 1 minute 20.696 from Not So Masoom. Let's see if any other drivers. Freeman comes across the line, but does not. Chris Byte comes across the line, but does not improve. Let's see if Freeman can. Very, very fast. Oh, and he's invalidated his lap time. Invalidated his lap time going through Ascari. Very unfortunate there. G Chroma also coming through Ascari now. He's purple in the second sector, G Chroma. He's gone even faster than Vortex. This could be an interesting lap. This could be very, very interesting. Only 2 minutes left now in qualify. The 2 minutes after the qualify is over. This allows cars who have not completed their lap to complete their lap. Coming into Parabolica, very clean through there. Not many dry, and he aborts his lap. G Chroma aborts his lap completely, which means, ladies and gentlemen, we have a new pole sitter in RRL. Anirudh 4597 takes the pole position here in front of the Tifosi at Toro Rosso. Is this Toro Rosso's home race? Is it? Yeah, it is. It is technically their home race. Very, very, very mega lap there from Anirudh. That is less than 8/10 off from the actual real life pole position of Charles Leclerc at Monza earlier in this earlier last season. But that is an absolutely mega qualifying. No drivers currently out on track. A lot of drivers just being driven by the AI right here. Faizan completes an entire lap thanks to the AI. He's in low fuel right now. So what a mega qualifying session.
So
Walter,
for
what are
the
your
people
thoughts?
who are confused about G Chroma not going for a faster lap on his tires, he just went into the pits because he's in 7th position on mediums. He'll be starting on the only person from the entire grid setting a fast lap on the mediums. So it will be interesting to see whether his strategy will plan out on this occasion. Let's hope it does. I'm waiting to see one of these strategies finally pay off.
I actually want to see the pole sitter winning the race. I believe Ninja Zero won the race last time, but that was because Maranello got involved in some incidents, I think, earlier on in the race at Brazil. But I want to see Anirudh pick up the race win here. Definitely rooting for him. No partiality, obviously, from the commentator, but if I had my money on some driver, it would be Anirudh because he gets a nice, clear run into turn one. Of course, that depends entirely on how clean it's started. It's a wet race! It's a wet race in Monaco. Sorry for the slight excitement there. My adrenaline jumped up by 135% because we have a wet race at Monaco.
Monza.
Monza. I'm so sorry. Yeah, that's the adrenaline talking. Sorry. Monaco is the inferior track, obviously, in terms of historical F1. Monza definitely the better track. Very, very interesting developments here. We have a wet race, ladies and gentlemen. Well, gentlemen primarily, but if there are any ladies, hello, welcome to the league.
It seems like Uzer is getting fairly annoyed with you.
Involved.
Yeah, he's getting a bit annoyed for you being biased towards Toro Rosso and towards Monza.
Oh yes, I mean. I am biased. I am David Croston Hamilton. I am biased as fish. As we get our formation lap underway here. I mean, I'm not being biased, but if my money were on a driver, it would probably be on Anirudh. He gets pole position. He's in the rain as well. He's I wouldn't say he's a rain master, but on some of the and there are some of the casual races that I've driven with him in the past, he has brilliant pace in the rain, in the wet. He's on a wheel, so that obviously helps him massively in controlling overstay in the rain. Control of drivers will definitely suffer here in the rain, but they do have much better traction. Controller drivers as compared to wheel drivers, because wheel drivers have to modulate the throttle very carefully, whereas controller drivers can just mash the right trigger and be done with it. So it'll be interesting. Anirudh has a very, very large gap here on the formation lap between him and Vortex. This game looking very eye candy now, with maximum graphics here. Are you running on maximum graphics?
It's on high, I think.
Slap it up to ultra. This game is not intensive at all. When you're on 1070, you can handle it easy peasy. Slap it on ultra, everything on maximum rain, maximum penalties,
10
maximum
FPS
reflections. It won't be 10. Oh, 1070 can handle it easily. Come on, don't be like that.
I'd rather keep it
My graphics
at
card is
high.
currently idling. My graphics card is currently idling, running all this rain. But let me give you a short rundown of the grid order. Anirudh with a mega lap putting in on pole position. Vortex in second place in the Mercedes. After he's had an interesting race in IRC this weekend, he was briefly in the lead, I believe, at Germany. I didn't watch the entire race. I do have to watch the race highlights later. And also Musum with a mega lap in the Force India or Racing Point or Aston Martin. I don't know. They're one of those things. Chris Bye in fourth position in the Haas car, no longer sponsored by Rich Energy, but of course F1 is inaccurate with those details. Freeman in fifth place in the McLaren. Hopefully he doesn't do a Lando Norris and get completely destroyed by his teammate, who is no more PP in the McLaren right behind him. G. Chroma in seventh place in the Alfa Romeo, one of one Alfa Romeos in the session today. Faizan in eighth. Profit in ninth, Cooldock in 10th. A good lap from Cooldock there, who usually finds himself at the back of the grid, but a brilliant performance this time. Let's go to the cinematic camera as it is 5 red lights. It's not 5 red lights yet. There's no light at all. Grid is still reforming. I'm sorry.
Just some really quick note. This is a very important race for Chris Bye, as both the Red Bulls are not in the session.
5 red lights. And away we go. At Monza, a wet race, something for the Tifosi to really look forward to. Here, can the Ferraris get a good start? Maybe they can, but Anirudh definitely a full 2 car lengths ahead of the other drivers going into the first corner. Cuts off Vortex aggressively going into the first corner. Everybody's getting punted. Everybody is getting bumper to bumper, wheel to wheel, rear wing to rear wing, front wing to rear diffuser going into the first corner. Maranello gets through there pretty cleanly. Wow, I believe all the drivers have gone through there pretty cleanly. There's not been a single incident. There's no spinning out. Oh, some of the drivers running wide at the Curvo Retafilio. Very clean there from Anirudh going into the second chicane, coming out into the Lesmos. Chris Bye making a mistake, drops down to 4th place, but I believe I'm right in saying that's the first time we've gone through the entire first sector or the second sector of the race without much incident, without much serious incident anyway. Chris Bye getting a lot of oversteer on the curbs here. He has to be very careful because he's under attack from the Sauber behind him. Anirudh already has a massive 2-second interval over the driver behind him, pulling away from everyone here. If he can be consistent, if he can do this race well, he will be the winner. And I'm no partiality again, I'm just stating the facts here. He has gone from 1.8 seconds to 2.2 seconds through the Ascari chicane alone. The wheel definitely showing its advantage here in the wet conditions. But as you can see now, a dry line is starting to form. Of course, this is just general information. You can follow it on the stream and using the stream footage as well. Anirudh puts in the fastest lap. Obviously, he's in the lead. He will be expected to put in the fastest lap of the session. And as you can see, pace is greatly affected in the rain. Drivers have much less downforce to work with because they're traveling at slower speeds. The brakes have a lot more work to do. Tires have a lot more work to do retaining that grip. But 1 minute 37 is the kind of laps we're seeing right now, coming from a 1 minute 20 during qualifying, nearly 17 seconds slower in the wet conditions.
Wet races are all about confidence. Having the confidence to brake hard, but also to not lock up. It's very difficult to not lock up in these conditions. People obviously, some of them drive with ABS, some of them don't. The guys with ABS will have an easier time than the guys without ABS, but it's still ABS, very difficult.
Definitely. ABS is a double-edged sword though, because it increases your braking distance by 10 to 20 meters easily. So if you don't have ABS, and if you're running without the ABS assist and you're very good on the brakes, you can actually massively outbrake those in using ABS. I know it's getting kind of unstable there out of Ascari, but he is pulling away here. 2.2 seconds clear now. Vortex doing a good job of keeping that gap consistent. Anirudh hasn't gained much time between last lap and this lap. Managed to gain incredibly 2.2 seconds on the opening lap, but now he's 2.3 seconds ahead going into lap number 3. No DRS, obviously. Anirudh going a 1 minute 34.995. Times are dropping, obviously, because the conditions are improving. Tires are warming up. Drivers. Anirudh locks up. Anirudh locks up going into the Rettifilio chicane picks up a 3-second time penalty for corner cutting. Very, very interesting there. I saw him lock up briefly, but I didn't know it would be that much of a problem for him. I thought he would be able to handle it, but Anirudh locks up into the opening chicane. Definitely will have to keep an eye on Vortex now, who didn't see much of a threat until just now. 3 seconds are separating them, which means as it stands right now, if the race were to end right now, Anirudh will win because he's 3.3 seconds up now. But, of course, nothing can be decided.
With a 10-second penalty.
10-second penalty. How did he do that? Did he just drive straight through? I wonder if he did. Maybe he did drive straight through.
That's insane. 10 seconds for a corner cutting penalty.
He must have taken off the runoff area at turn 1, which is going through the crisscross bollards, if you remember. Or not the bollards, the crisscross boards. But Dylan finding himself in 13th place right now. Keep an eye, though, on False RU, who has made it into 10th place and is putting the attack on Vikram in the Ferrari. He's also managed to carve out himself a nice 1.3 second interval on Ninja Zero. Kind of drops to 1.2 tenths, 1.1 seconds now, because he got a poor exit from Ascari. But you can see just a general observation to those in the stream right now. You can see the cars taking much lower speeds going through the Parabolica now. Of course, Parabolica usually is a very high downforce section, as False Ninja Zero on attack here on False RU. Ooh, clean racing there from both drivers, as False RU massively overshoots the corner. Will he pick up a penalty here? No, he won't. He will not pick up a penalty.
Let us go on board with Maranello Baby, who started in 15th position and is now up to 7th. Trying to battle it out with Faizan.
Faizan, very hairy, slows down all the way down to about 100 kilometers an hour going through that chicane there. Very easy for Maranello just to slip past him. He does slip briefly wide. Could that impact the line of Faizan? Could he make a potential appeal there? Maybe not, but Maranello gets it done fairly cleanly enough and is ahead, and he will have his eyes firmly set on Freeman. He's 5 seconds up the road now, so Maranello has his work cut out for him trying to catch up to the leaders. Speaking of the leaders, Anirudh now 3 seconds clear of Vortex.
Yeah, Vortex is starting to catch Anirudh. He's getting more confidence on the brakes. It's all about trying to assess how much you can brake, because it's very inconsistent. It's not very consistent anyway. As the track forms a drier line, you can brake a lot later. It's all about finding the proper braking points, and we've seen Anirudh has sometimes some problems with going maybe a bit in too deep, or maybe braking a little bit too hard.
Gets a 10-second time penalty for cutting the first chicane on the circuit. Deary me, that 10-second time penalty might rear its ugly head a couple of times in this session. Dylan and now Chris by. What's happening? Update us, Walter.
Vikram and Faizan were having a very nice encounter.
They're still having a battle going into the Ascari chicane. Oh, not the Ascari, sorry. This is Sector 1, so it's going into the second chicane. I really have to get that chicane's name. I'm Googling it right now.
I think G-Chroma might have some problems with connections, as it just came online for me on Steam.
Yes, he closed it out, meaning that a bot is driving.
Is it?
Yes.
Okay, so it seems like he crashed. He will be able to join into the session again. A bit of a bummer, because he was in, I believe, 7th place until he disconnected, unfortunately. Anirudh getting the fastest lap again with a 1:34.1. It's getting faster out there.
Say 4 tenths faster than Vortex's last lap, and you can see in the delta, the gap between the drivers now is 3.8 seconds now. Was 3.5 seconds a second ago. Now it's 3.8 tenths. It was 3.8. What the hell am I saying? 3.8 seconds between the two guys.
Let's go on board with Vortex and check out one of his laps. Let's see where he maybe wins or loses some time.
Okay, so apologies to the stream. I was getting some of the corner names terribly wrong. Uh, all right, I've now got a better idea of what all these corners are called. Okay, beautiful. Hopefully the stream is looking strong. Should be. No big issues on the stream.
It looks like Vortex is very strong through the Lesmos. He seems to be getting some time on Anirudh in those corners. Maybe the first corner is one of his weakest. He breaks fairly early. Same for...
As I was saying, sorry to interrupt you, but as I was saying, the pad drivers have a massive advantage when it comes to putting down the power on corner exit because they don't have to worry too much about feathering the throttle. They just have to mash it and then go for it. The wheel drivers, you may have also experienced, you have to be a lot more cautious on corner exit when it comes to putting down the power, otherwise you will spin out, even with traction control on medium. But obviously pad drivers, I can speak from my experience here, I don't really have to worry about that too much. I just kind of roughly get it sort of straightened out, not on the curve when I can mash the power. The exit is a lot faster. I've seen it with AI drivers on career mode. But I've also seen it a lot in wet races, in online lobbies as well, where the wheel drivers just don't have that kind of corner exit confidence that the pad drivers have. Freeman picks up a 3-second time penalty here for corner cutting. I believe that 10 seconds is a bit too harsh for the first corner. I believe those penalties will be looked at by the stewards. Definitely, they will be having a look at 10-second penalties being issued left, right, center here by the game.
It's definitely very up for interpretation, especially if they just go on the escape route just to avoid someone. I feel like they shouldn't even get a penalty in the first place, especially if they give back the position. So it's a bit difficult, especially the game just dishes out penalties left and right. But there's a lot more interpretation needed for the penalties, of course.
Also, would you agree with me in saying that the rain has kind of lessened in intensity now?
I'm not sure. It's very well. There is a very dry line forming on the racing track, but I'm not sure if the rain is starting to.
All the drivers are struggling to get the right line through the Parabolica. As Manalo Baby finishes, fast, he's 1 minute 33.439, absolutely blowing away the faster drivers in terms of the fastest lap. He's going to be sitting in 5th position, and his pace is absolutely astounding here, driving the wheels off that Renault and absolutely catching up with Not So Masoom. But ahead of him is Chris Bai, who is nearly 10 seconds clear of the two drivers, as Maranello and Not So Masoom. So that'll be interesting to see just how he catches. Chris Bai on my screen he's right there. The gap between Chris Bai and Vortex is 10 seconds. I'm very sorry. The gap between Not So Masoom and Chris Bai is 0.4 of a second, which is why Maranello might be able to at least get a podium now. If he overtakes these two drivers, they are massively slower. I think they're both pad drivers. So, Maranello definitely looking more confident in these wet conditions rather than the two drivers ahead of him. People make a lot of time here through Ascari. Drivers braking early.
I hope people who don't really evaluate the driving performances of the real F1 drivers really understand how difficult it is to actually drive in these conditions, and that it is actually insane that they're allowed to drive in these conditions as well.
Sorry to interrupt you there, Walter, but Maranello gets an overtake done on the outside going through Parabolica. Not So Masoom gets caught up in a very, very slow line, very conservative inside line, and Maranello just shoots around the outside of him as he looks to make up time on Chris Bai. This is an insane drive so far from Maranello, but will he be able to match the consistency of the drivers at the front who have much cleaner air, don't have to worry about traffic as well? Can he catch up? Now Vortex officially 10 seconds ahead of Chris Bai. That's a large gap to make up. Maranello, will he go for the dive bomb here? Going into the Variante Roger. Oh, Chris By getting very unstable coming out of that curve out of the Variante Roger, going into the two Lesmos. Maranello starting in 15th, now up into 3rd position. This is what we've seen a lot from Maranello. He doesn't really put his everything into qualifying. He just doesn't matter if he starts in 5th or 8th or 15th. He manages to somehow find the pace and get up to the front runners. He is now 10.6 seconds down on Vortex, but knowing his pace, he'll be right up behind Vortex. But do not discount Vortex and Anirudh. I think next time Maranello comes through Ascari, I will let you know. I just on board with him, but he seems to be really taking the corner exit on Ascari for granted, putting all 4 wheels outside the white lines. So that'll definitely be something to look at. I don't know if you have been spectating him in previous laps, but
for now, let's go on board with G-Chroma, who is finally connected back and is right behind Fivesan, who is maybe lagging a little bit. And G-Chroma had to get off the throttle because he thought he was gonna run into the back of him.
Coming out of Parabolica on the start finish straight, this will be G-Chroma's safest overtaking spot, let's say. Whether or not Faizan is lagging, we will find out later. Faizan, very conservative, puts it on the inside, literally parks it on the inside. Both of them side by side going as Faizan goes deep. Very deep, late outbrakes himself. Faizan gets a 5-second time penalty for corner cutting. The stewards will definitely have a look at that one as well. Maybe 5 seconds is a bit too harsh, braking himself. But G-Chroma finds himself behind Faizan. Faizan should definitely be conceding the position. He outbroke himself massively. And False RU also picking up a 3-second time penalty. Ooh, Faizan getting very oversteery coming out of the Variante Roger, going into the two Lesmos. G-Chroma having to drive very conservatively because Faizan just looks to be shutting the door every time G-Chroma gets even remotely close. Hopefully we're still riding on board with G-Chroma here in Walter's point of view. Let's check up on some of the other drivers now. This seems to be the battle to look at right now, G-Chroma and Faizan. Faizan will probably concede the position soon enough. He'll be struggling in the wet conditions. Let me go on board.
Vikram going side by side as well.
Yep. Vikram and Ninja Zero currently battling it out on the back straight, heading into Parabolica. Can Ninja Zero get it done on the outside? Yes, he can.
Side by side.
Just about manages to get a nose in front. Very clean racing, wheel to wheel here. That side by side coming into the Variante Retofilio. Hard on the brakes. Who will be brave enough to outbrake themselves here? Side by side going into the Variante Retofilio. Ooh, Ninja Zero just narrowly manages to stay ahead. Ooh, a little bit of contact there from the two drivers. Lots of lag. Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah, exactly.
Two cars getting very raunchy in public. Maybe they should get a room. Oh, side by side going into the second chicane. This is very close racing from the two drivers. Brilliant racing from Vikram. Brilliant defense from him to somehow keep ahead of the much faster Ninja Zero. Ninja Zero will now be thinking, what should I be doing to get past Vikram? Faizan picks up another 3-second penalty, and I think G-Chroma was pushed wide because he has dropped back considerably behind Faizan. There's a yellow flag in the sector.
I'm wondering if he actually got damage from the dive bomb from Faizan. I'm not actually sure.
Let me just have a quick look at his front wing. No, his front wing seems to be fine. He seems to have both end plates. Maranello going an absolute putting it on wonder laps here. 1 minute 32.7, I think that was, or 9.
Yeah, he
not
has
sure,
got
but he's
5 seconds into what, like 5 laps. He's closing in very rapidly onto
He's closing in very rapidly.
I think Vortex maybe even made a mistake because he's now almost 7 seconds behind.
7 seconds off Anirudh's pace, yes. But
as Ninja Zero going the inside of Vikram again. Let's see if it works out this time.
Ooh, Ninja Zero gets it done well. He is finally ahead of Vikram. And what I said on the previous lap does not count, which is Ninja Zero did find a way past Vikram. in the tough conditions. Vikram will now look to gain that position back as he drops down to 8th position. We only have one Ferrari driver in the race today. Interesting. Where is Iyad Ahmed? He did not log in. I don't think he logged. I don't think he checked in. So interesting.
I think Vikram might have some damage actually.
Is he dropping back
Oh,
considerably?
no.
Oh, he is.
He's having
Dylan,
some
another
difficulties.
5-second penalty. Both Williams drivers are picking up the penalties here for cutting the first chicane.
In the meanwhile, Chicroma is just again right on the back of 5 zone. Are they going side by side through Ascari?
Ooh, they are. Oh, and Faizan punted him into the wall there. Faizan completely pushes G Chroma off the track rather, going into Ascari. G Chroma definitely picked up front wing damage there, maybe even more damage. But Faizan, oh, that's going to be an interesting one for the stewards to look at. Good thing we got it on stream.
Yeah, I'll be waiting to see Uzer's reaction to that one.
Oh yes, we need to well we'll see in a couple of seconds time when Uzer sees it on stream. But that'll be an interesting one. G Chroma obviously dives into the pits, might even choose to pit to a new set of tires and have a lap older tires in exchange for not having to pit alongside the rest of the drivers. So he might be ahead during the next pit window. But do keep an eye on G Chroma. He is pitting considerably earlier than other drivers. I don't think any other driver has pitted in for now, as Cooldot is now becoming a back marker, has a blue flags, and has to let, is that Vortex? Yes, Vortex is coming up to lap Cooldot within just 13 laps of the race. As you can see, if we can go on board with Vortex right now, Vortex and Maranello Baby are separated by just 1.6 seconds. Maranello absolutely finessing this battle to the next level. He has been getting a massive amount of time as Anirudh dives into the pits here.
Vikram is gonna have to as well. Vikram has damage. I think he came together with Ninja Zero. He's dropping back considerably now.
Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear.
Yeah, let's go on board with Maranello Baby, who is chasing down War Vortex now. He's getting very close. Let's see.
Yep, as Anirudh drops down to 4th position. Oh yeah, he is very, very confident on the brakes there. Vortex just hugging the inside line and chooses to let Maranello pass. Very interesting. I think Vortex realized that Maranello is just much, much faster and chooses not to fight him. Very interesting. I was expecting Vortex to fight it as it gets very, very hairy there out of the Lesmos onto the back straight now. Very interesting there from Vortex. There's some kind of secret team orders between Renault and Mercedes. It'll be interesting to see. But Toto Wolff just choosing to let his driver allow the faster driver through. I think that's more racing sense than any kind of admittance of defeat, because Vortex very clearly knows Maranello is much, much faster than him. Now a 12, 14, nearly 15-second gap between Maranello and Anirudh.
Chris By not getting the best exit out of Ascari. Still, he had a little... he went a bit deep in the first part of Ascari, but actually ended up getting a better exit than Freeman. Freeman still very close.
Maranello Baby picks up a 3-second time penalty. Maranello Baby picks up a 3-second time penalty for cutting the first chicane. Very, very interesting. And I think Vortex struggled through the first chicane as well. Yep, 5-second penalty for corner cutting. This will be very, very interesting to see. Now, I think Not So Masoom has no penalty. So if he can get within a couple of seconds of those cars ahead, he might actually be in with a chance of a win. Racing Point winning the race, that would be interesting to see. Vijay Mallya would be tossing and turning in his jail cell right there.
Going a bit deep in the first corner and completely overshooting the actual brake marker. Losing a lot of time on Chris By, but I have no doubt he will be closing in again. As the ghost
Freeman,
of Dylan
a lot faster. The ghost of Dylan. Dylan starts with D. Both Williams currently sitting in 14th and 13th. Not really saying much because there are only 15 drivers here today, but they are well off the points, nearly 21 seconds off Profit, and Profit himself is 13 seconds, nearly 20 seconds off the top 10. So I think the chances of Williams picking up a points finish this time around seem slim to none. But of course, keep an eye on it. G Chroma leaves the session right when he was on the attack. He's left the session again. Very, very weird there from G Chroma.
I might have some connection
16.
issues. Let's go on board with Anirudh, who's now right behind Not So Matsumed. He has to clear this traffic as fast as possible to not lose a lot of time to Maranello Baby, who is just running clean air.
3 wide going into the first chicane. But Anirudh gets it done very cleanly, not having to worry about the traffic because the traffic does get ghosted out for the most part. But Anirudh up into 3rd position. This will be very, very important if he wants to get the overcut done. He needs to... Oh, there's a driver going off the track there. That's Vortex! Vortex is off the track. Has he retired from the race? What is happening? I think he went wide.
He has damage.
Going into... Yeah, he's gone very wide going into the Curva Grande. But very interesting. Vortex, has he got... Oh, yes. The right side of his wing is not there anymore. Nice.
Well, fortunately, he hasn't pitted yet. So it's not like he was on fresh tires. He still had it to pit anyway.
Yep.
Now, losing some extra time is not nice.
Maranello is absolutely leading the charge here. 16 seconds clear of the drivers behind him. Will this be when he pits? No, he's choosing to stay out for another lap. Okay, maybe he's looking to weather out these rain conditions. These wet tires.
Vortex losing even more places. Going very slowly through Ascari.
Absolutely going torrid right now. But I think right now Maranello is pulling away. Maybe the other drivers rethinking their strategy here, choosing to pit a little earlier. Anirudh now on 5-lap old tires. Maybe he's thinking about this. Maybe he has to think about this a little bit. Let me give you a little positions rundown. So Maranello has made up 40 as Vortex picks up a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. I have said to these guys on repeated occasion, do not turn off the pit limiter, as in do not turn on pit assist. It's fine. It's fine. It's one of those things. It's one of those nonsensical assists that nobody really cares about.
Dylan and Prophet.
Dylan and Prophet. What happened to Prophet? Wasn't he ahead of them by massive amounts? Did he pit? Oh, he might have pit. Yes, he pit and he's come out of the pits and he's now behind Dylan. Battle for Profit here, but I think Profit should... Oh, and they've made contact! Big contact between Profit and Dylan. Dylan's been pushed into the wall. Profit's been pushed into the wall. Both of them have lost end plates now. And Dylan, luckily, not having to pit. But Profit, the loser out of that scenario, because he has lost his end plate, I think, and he just came out of the pit.
And Cool Dog is right behind them as well. He will take those places gladly.
Oh, Cool Dog. Dylan's got off the track. Cool Dog has made the position. He's done an overtake. Yes, Cool Dog, well done. Cool Dog up into 14th place now. Very consistent drive from him. He's not particularly fast, but he's very consistent, and I can respect that. Dylan in 15th place now. Back of the pack.
He's a very cool guy. No pun intended.
Ooh, coming in with that 5,000 IQ puns, Daniel Ricciardo would be proud. Vortex seems to be the biggest loser in this first 18 laps. He's dropped 6 positions, primarily due to that damage he picked up, spinning off at the Curva Grande. But he will be looking to mount a big comeback drive now, but I think the drivers ahead of him haven't pitted yet. Let me look at the number of pit stops. Yes, Maranello has not pitted, Masoom has not pitted, Freeman has not pitted, Ninja Zero has not pitted, and Faizan has not pitted. So there is 5 positions up for grabs here for Vortex if he can get it done. Tires, all of them apparently wet tires, but Faizan is on 17-lap old tires. But if Maranello is anything to go by, tires are not a problem because he is managing the pace well. 18 seconds clear of Anirudh right now. and he can probably come out of the pits ahead of Anirudh unless something goes wrong in the pit stop for him. He is now pulling away from Anirudh on much older tires, still choosing not to dive into the pits, controlling the pace, controlling the race as well. Anirudh will be kind of disappointing that he was unable to get the overcut done.
Let's check War Vortex and Faizan. Both very
Two
close.
Mercedes drivers, Toto Wolf, smashing tables right about now. If these two drivers collide, hopefully they won't, but Faizan is very aggressive on the defense. Vortex, maybe he will have a good run into Ascari, but he won't look to get it done into Ascari. He'll look to get it done on the back straight or heading into the pit straight after Parabolica.
Let's hope Faizan just pulls into the pits, as this would resolve this issue without too much problems. The last thing War Vortex wants now is getting some more damage on his wing, and Freeman is going onto the inters.
Maybe conditions are improving. It doesn't seem like it though. It seems like it's still very wet out there. Very wet conditions, as Jeremy Clarkson might describe it. Vortex getting the overtake done here. Both Mercedes going side by side. And yeah, Faizan concedes the position. Probably heard a message coming on the radio from James. Faizan, it's James. Please let Vortex through, please. Thank you. It's for the betterness of the team. Faizan just has to let the position go there. But also because he slowed down, that allows Vikram, who's right on their tail now, to catch up with the two Mercedes cars. IRC, no more PP, is no more in 15th place. He is now in 10th place on 15-lap-old wet tires. Some pit stops to remind you about. G Chroma, False Are You, Profit, Dylan, and Cool Dog have all pit to new set of wet tires, which means they are good until the end of the race. But I'm interested to see what's Freeman's pace on the intermediate tires. It's a very bold decision from him.
At the moment, he's dropping back rapidly.
Is he? Oh, okay. You have a yellow flag somewhere. Trying to see if any driver has spun up. Ooh. Sector 3, yellow flag. A lot of drivers driving right next to each other. Both the Williams drivers, both the Haas drivers as well.
Yeah, Cool Dog.
That's all.
In between Williams sandwich.
Riding on board with Cool Dog here. He'll look to get the overtake done. Sorry for the yawning. I kind of got up late today. I'm still kind of tired. Cool Dog looking to get the overtake done on the Williams here. Will he send it up the inside? Gets very close. Very controlled braking. Ooh, touches the Williams. Ooh, little contact there. And I don't think that it's sufficient enough. Both the Williams drivers cutting each other off. Very nice driving between False Are You and Dylan. Very close to each other. But Williams and Dylan now drops to last place on the grid. False Are You.
Maranello in the pits. Maranello is finally going into the pits.
Maranello in the pits. It'll be interesting to see if Anirudh will make it ahead. Anirudh is coming through the Parabolica. Let's stay on board with Maranello here, though, Walter. Let's keep Maranello on the stream here.
I am on board with Anirudh.
All right, Maranello is coming out of the pits. Can Anirudh get the overtake done? Maranello out of the pits yet? No, he isn't. He's still inside the pits. Anirudh has done the overcut. It is successful. And Maranello also comes out on the intermediate tires. Are the conditions changing? Are conditions changing? Is there a rule as to you have to use both sets of wet tire compounds? Is there a rule like that? I'm not sure.
You need to pit at least once.
Pit at least once. Okay, that's okay. But do you have to use the intermediate tire in very wet conditions?
No. You don't have to. You don't have to use the intermediates.
That intermediate tire choice has backfired on Maranello. 5.6 seconds and 5.8 seconds, dropping back massively. This could benefit Anirudh if Maranello has chosen to go on the wrong set of tires. Freeman currently, he was in 5th, now he's in 6th. Had to concede the position to Chris Bye on the wet tires. Oh, I think Maranello has made a massive mistake here going onto the intermediate tires. Of course, I am speaking purely hypothetically. We are not yet sure as to whether or not Maranello may have made a mistake going onto the intermediate tires. Only time will tell. But one thing we can tell is he has 6 laps to make up a 6th 5-second interval. And keep in mind, both drivers, both Anirudh and Maranello, have penalties. And Maranello has a 5-second penalty, whereas Anirudh only has a 3-second penalty. Definitely something to keep in mind here for both drivers. So even if Maranello takes the lead, he has to get 2 seconds clear. That doesn't seem like the case, though, because Maranello is dropping back 6.1 seconds now. It was 5.8 seconds going through Parabolica, 6.2 seconds now. This is very, very interesting. Works right into Anirudh's favor, and I think Maranello may have made a blunder here. Not saying anything yet, though, but I'm keeping my fingers crossed for Maranello that this strategy works out for him, because that's what makes the end of this race very, very interesting.
The question is, what does Anirudh do when it really starts to dry up and Maranello starts putting on the pressure onto Anirudh? Will he make some mistakes?
I feel like we are still a considerable way from the track completely drying up. I don't think the track is completely dry. There's still lots of standing water.
There's a lot less rain, at least, at the moment. And sometimes the track really dries up quickly. It can dry up within 1 or 2 laps.
Race control has given Faizan a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane as he dived into the pits. He is on 21 lap old tyres. Can you believe it? Not so Masoom, also on 21 lap old tyres. I don't know what's the deal.
They're trying to stretch.
Clear of
yeah, they're trying to stretch the tires to be able to switch to in the intermediates, but it doesn't dry up quick enough.
Good idea, right? Oh, Maranello making up the time now on Anirudh, 5.3 seconds. Oh, dearie me, 5.2 seconds. The times are tumbling here for Maranello. Maranello, baby, fastest lap of the race, 1 minute 32.1. He's 5.2 seconds clear now.
Yeah, not so Masoom also coming into the pits. It seems like it is the time to switch.
Oh, Anirudh, I believe I take everything back. Anirudh might be the one caught out here. 4.6 seconds now. Maranello making insane time on Anirudh. Will Anirudh be bold enough to stay on the wet tyre? I think he just might stay on the wet tyres if it's not that much of a...
Yeah, he will have to, otherwise he will lose. He will lose the place regardless.
If he pits now, he will come out in second place. Actually, both the top 2 drivers are much farther ahead than Not So Masoom. They are nearly 30 seconds clear of the rest of the field. So,
yeah, so
right
I think
now it's just a battle. Yep.
Yeah, I think Anirudh should stay on the wets. If Maranello baby closes up, he's second place. If he pits, he's second place. At least try on the wets.
Yeah, Maranello currently making up nearly a second on that lap. 3.5 seconds now clear. Anirudh says 3.5 seconds clear now. A little bit of time on at Ascari. 3.6 seconds now, but the battle is entirely between Maranello and Anirudh now. But let's see if any other drivers are fairly close to each other. Profit is fairly close to Kulldog, but he is on slightly older tyres. And Kulldog himself is behind Ninja Zir. Oh, wow. Wow, Maranello, 1 minute 30. The track is really drying out now, as he predicted, Walter. And he's having to negotiate the slightly dry conditions, and he's able to negotiate it a lot better than Anirudh right about now. Anirudh must be cursing himself for staying on the wet tyres, but as a racing driver in wet conditions, it really is very unpredictable as to just how much the track is drying, or if it's drying at all. But do keep in mind, we have 3 laps of racing left, or technically 4 laps of racing left. If Maranello gets ahead, he has to be 2 seconds ahead of Anirudh if he wants to claim the race victory, because he has a 5-second penalty, whereas Anirudh only has a 3-second penalty, and that's only counting penalties up until now. If these drivers go wheel to wheel to retain their position, there may be even more penalties involved. Do keep an eye on this battle. I'm riding on board with Maranello. The gap is less than a second now. Anirudh really struggling. Maranello gets a much better exit out of Ascari. They are wheel to wheel going into Parabolica. This could be a very interesting overtake, but I think Maranello has much better grip right now.
Yeah,
he runs wide though.
Outside.
But I think that is the overtake done and dusted. Anirudh will have to settle for second place in this race, but very nice racing from the 2 drivers there. Maybe Anirudh might have thought about going on the intermediate, but back when he pitted, conditions were still very, very wet, so the wet tires seemed like the best option. Maranello has done an absolute mastermind here, IQ 5000 plays, and he has managed to not only survive, he didn't survive the overcut, but he's managed to survive in the end. But now his job is to get 2 seconds clear. And no IRC, no more pro player picks up a 10-second time penalty.
False
for
are used going for the slicks. Going for the soft
false
tire.
RRL on soft tires. Very interesting. As IRC, no more PP passes him under.
Ooh, Ninja
blue
Zero
flags.
getting really close to Freeman as well.
Less
Starting to close
than
in.
a second separate the both of them now, going into the last 3 laps of the race. Anirudh is now 3 point. Ooh, Ninja Zero very deep going into the first quarter. Is that a penalty for him?
No, Chris
No,
Bai
I don't think so.
did get another one though. And Maranello baby gets a 3-second time penalty as well.
3-second time penalty. He is now has to get 6 seconds ahead of Anirudh. 6 seconds ahead of Anirudh is where he needs to be right now. Let me go and check out race director, see how many penalties Anirudh has picked up. I don't think Anirudh has picked up many penalties though, so let me check it out. Anirudh corner cutting 3-second penalty. No, he does not have any other penalties.
Setting the fastest
Maranello
lap,
has
1:30.3.
Maranello got a number of warnings for cutting, exceeding track limit, and then he picked up a. Where is it? There we go. He picked up a 3-second time penalty. Okay, he didn't pick up a 5-second, he got up a 3-second time penalty. And Vortex picking up a number of penalties as well. And I think Maranello's picked up another one. Okay, so he only needs to be 6 seconds ahead. And I think he is. So
He's
yeah.
29 seconds ahead as Anirudh pitted on the inters.
Oh, weird. Very weird indeed. Why did he choose to pit then?
Maybe he was
Why?
scared of losing a lot of time to Natsumasum, and maybe his tires were not performing as they should be, and just wanted to play it safe as he was already in second place.
Well,
Ninja Zero coming
then
still very close to Freeman. Freeman making a mistake. Let's see how this turns out. Ninja Zero got a much
better exit. Yep, Ninja Zero is up into 4th place now. Don't know how the penalties will decide the final outcome of this race, but as of right now, Ninja Zero is ahead of Freeman going into the lap number 26.
Chris Bai also very close to Freeman and Ninja Zero. He was ahead, if I was not mistaken, but he's still on the wet tires, so both Ninja Zero and Freeman just a lot faster due to the difference in tires, in tire compound.
Very, very interesting. Indeed.
Switch back to Freeman, who is definitely still within a fight with Ninja Zero. Ninja Zero is getting slightly away now. Seems like Freeman got a better exit. Let's see how his exit will be from Parabolica. Seems like it's a bit worse compared to Ninja Zero. And Ninja Zero is just getting away. Let's go on board with G Chroma instead, who is again closing in on Faizan. These two guys not having the best race together, as they were coming together earlier in this race. Exactly at the point we're watching.
We're on the final lap of the race now. Yep, we are on the final lap of the race.
G Chroma almost losing it.
G Chroma almost losing it, but I think this is Maranello's race victory as he crumbs across the line and takes the race victory here in Italy in front of the Tifosi. The French car of Maranello, baby, takes the victory. Anirudh is still coming down the back straight, heading into the final corner of Parabolica, but a very, very convincing drive for Maranello, baby. Started 15 and finished first. Yet again, a brilliant drive from Maranello, baby. Made the intermediate strategy work out perfectly. Contrary to what I said, I said Maranello would lose time because I thought that what conditions were getting worse, but the conditions were in fact getting better. The track was drying up very well, and a very, very nice victory there from Maranello. Parade lap is now on. Anirudh comes across the line, and not so Masoom picks up a third place finish. A brilliant finish there by the reserve driver driving for Racing Point. A fantastic result that will hopefully push Racing Point up the Constructors' Championship. Ninja Zero is going to finish fourth. Yes, he is. But despite all the penalties, he is going to finish fourth. Freeman's going to finish fifth. Chris By is going to finish sixth. And a very, very disappointing race for our seventh place finisher, Vortex, who actually moves up to sixth after penalties.
The standings might still change after all the penalties are reviewed, though. A lot of people getting 10-second penalties. Maybe a bit harsh.
It should change the top five. I don't think they were involved in much, but it'll definitely change the midfield. Yep.
Exactly.
But a
very nice.
A
very nice result from Ninja Zero. He's really stepping up these last few races.
Yeah, he's been really driving well. He picked up a fourth place finish, starting 13th, I believe, on the grid. So. Very, very good result there for Ninja Zero and for Renault in the Constructors' Championship. But that is another fantastic victory for Maranello Baby. Unlucky for Anirudh, but he finishes a very, very close second indeed, even though the time may not show it. It is not an indication of just how close these two drivers were. Not so Masoom finishes third in a fantastic result for Racing Point Aston Martin Force India. I'll just go ahead and take some screenshots here of the final grid order. All right, we are migrating host, which means that Freeman has left. But yes, thank you guys very much for watching. Do, however, stay tuned for tomorrow's race. This is a double header weekend as we go to Britain at the legendary Silverstone circuit tomorrow at exactly the same time, 3 p.m. Indian time. 11:30 a.m. British time if you're watching from abroad as well. Thank you guys very much for watching today's race, and it is goodbye.